Hey guys, what's going on? Thanks for joining us today. Today we got a pretty cool special guest. I reached out to him on an IG. Very cool photographer. Definitely doing some amazing automotive content through IG, and I'm sure he's got probably a YouTube channel as well, and Facebook, all that good stuff. Will Collette. Am I saying Will Collette correctly? I hate to say people's names in the incorrect manner.
No, it's good. It's Collette.
Collette. Okay, like Gillette, right?
You got it. Yep.
Okay, there we go. Cool, man. So yeah, thanks for being on the podcast. This is great. I think we'll have a pretty awesome podcast. So, dude, let's start with your IG because that's kind of how I found you, and I figured that'd be a good start. I know you sent me the 4 questions and the 4 topics we're going to talk about, but I figured it'd be something that we could talk about as well. Was your IG page? Okay, so we had some technical difficulties, but we are back. Will, so tell me a little more, or actually tell me about your IG handle because it's a little confusing. Billco, where'd that come from?
Yeah, everybody they think it's Bill, and they're like, okay, is it Will? The handle actually came from a call sign given to me by an actual fighter pilot. When I was in college, I was in the Air Force. Yeah,
that's pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah, so I don't really want to change it, right?
No.
It came from my actual name, Bill Collette. I was going by Bill when I was in college, and this guy who was in ROTC with me, who's now a pilot in the Air Force, just called me Billco. And I had a lot of nicknames growing up, but Billco was one of the first ones, I'd never heard that before. And Instagram had just kind of become popular when I was in college. Like, this was back when you only had like 5 filters to choose from. That's how long I've had it.
That's
so
back
I was able
in
to
the
get
day.
a really short handle.
Yeah,
and Willco has never been available since. So it's always been Billco.
Cool. That's a great explanation of where your IG handle came from. That's very cool. Awesome, man. Well, so I had obviously when I reached out to you, I told you about the podcast. I had invited you to this insane event that we're going to be having on April 17th. Unfortunately, you told me you couldn't make it because you got your own rally going on, which is great. I believe you're working with Longtail Rally, right?
That is correct. Yes, sir.
Awesome. Very cool. And when did that start up? When did that relationship kind of get going?
Kind of by accident. It came on Instagram or through Instagram, which seems to be how all of my connections are built. I won a contest that they were doing, and they asked for my address to ship out a car print that they were giving away. And I gave them my address, and they're like, "You're less than a mile away from our actual house." I was like, "Oh, let me just come pick it up right now." So I drove over, and turns out we had a bunch of the same friends, and I had a Ticket Dismissers hoodie on, and they're like, "We love those guys." And turns out they, love Life of PALOS, and I manage Life of PALOS, and they love DDE, and I think I was over there for like 4 hours.
Yeah, just talking car networking.
Car stuff, yeah. It was funny because I was supposed to go on a run. I was gonna just pick it up and then go on my run. So I took pre-workout right before I went to their house.
Right.
And then I sat there for 4 hours on a high dose of pre-workout just talking about cars. So you can only imagine. And I just kept going over and we kept hanging out. And they're like, dude, all these different people in the car scene. We're doing a rally. You should just work with us. So they hired me. And that's what I do now. And I quit my day job and now do marketing for them and one other company. Awesome. And it's been a blast, man.
That's so cool, dude. I think that's how I met you. So I think I was targeted by their sponsorship or their advertising, and I had never heard of them. And I'm like, oh wow, let me reach out to them. I know that they're in Cali, obviously, but I was like, fuck it, I don't care. I'm reaching out to the whole world on this. Like I'm literally talking to people in Europe, and I'm talking. It's like, hey, if you can make it, fuck it. If you can, great. If you can't, next time,
Right.
And that's really cool. And I actually, that's insane because I actually reached out to the owner of Longtail, and I didn't know if it was him or if it was a team member. Yeah, Mike.
Yeah.
And so this is really funny. I have to come clean with this because this is something that happened. So first thing, I had made a comment. I believe it's the Lamborghini Huracan video that you guys that you did his promo like for the sponsorship for the company. And it's a great video. I had no criticisms on the video. My whole thing is this: is that obviously you guys used a very popular song. I don't know what song it is. It's that the one you used,
or Astronaut in the Ocean, something like that, by Masked Wolf, I think.
Okay,
that one.
So that's probably
that's
probably it. I've heard it. Everybody on IG has heard it. It's probably gotten famous on IG, right? And so I'm a little bit, I'm a little bit of a critic. I'll always, not trying to be a dick or anything, but just had something to say about it because I love the video. The video was shot amazing. Like you did I think it was all you, right? It was you and probably you. Right? So it's fantastic work. I'm like, this looks great, but there's one problem with it. And then I had to come up with, my whole thing is this, like, I'm I'm 37 years old, so I'm a little bit older than most of the people on IG. Not that much older, but there's a lot of young people like you. I think you're probably younger than 30, right? Like 20,
27.
something?
Yep.
Okay, so not that, but younger than 30. And I mean, I get it. There's eras all have their music styles and all that good stuff, and I understand it, but it's just some of this trap music, man. Some of this, I'm sorry, but in my opinion, it's just not the one you use. It's not that bad. I actually like that song. It's not that bad. But some of the trap music and all this fucking like just kind of ghetto shit that gets put out sometimes on these amazing videos, I'm like, okay, this has to stop. Like, what is going on? Why is everybody? And I get it. Trends get pushed on IG and obviously on TikTok now, and everybody starts using it. And I want to use that song. It's like, you know what? People that are making, especially like such as yourself, even me. I mean, I'm a content creator as well, and it's sometimes you should. Not you, I'm saying, but like people that are creating these videos should just say, you know what, let's not just do what everybody else is doing or grab the songs that everybody else is using or whatever it is. Maybe try to grab something a little bit different or something that people haven't heard, or, in my case, I'm trying to push out some of the, back in the 90s, obviously, there was fantastic music being produced. I think probably the best era of music, in my opinion. And there's like Crystal Method and Chemical Brothers. They were making, I mean, you could literally grab any of their songs and put it in any cartridge and it'll just look fucking awesome, Yeah. But so I told him that. He's like, well, maybe you should reach out to the person who produced it. And I was like, who's that? He's like, oh, Billco, and he sent me and I was like, oh shit, I gotta add him. So at least I'm coming clean. I'm not gonna talk shit, just in case he listens. But that fucker, he didn't even say that he criticized your music, and I don't want to be like that. I'm very truthful.
You want to know something actually really funny? Is I found that song. I'm like you. I like to pick music that no one else is using. So like if you go look through my feed, look at all these videos, you'll find like for example, the last video I did with a Peruvian model last week had a song that barely has 5,000 views on YouTube right now by an artist that's like barely on the map right now. Okay. And I like to get permission from the artists if I use something that's copywritten. So like I've been using Scrizzly Adams a lot lately in my vlogs. I get permission from that. My boy Catastrophic, based out in Arizona, his track, like just, these are guys that are like beyond underground, just like no one knows them.
Nobody knows about it.
And I found that song like a couple months ago and was like, this is the song we used for the Long Tail Rally video. I discovered it through like just recommended on Spotify. And although it's been out for a few years, it hadn't hit TikTok yet. It hadn't hit mainstream yet. It hadn't popped off yet. And I hit the artist up and I said, dude, I love this track. Can I use it for this video? And it was so easy to reach him. I got same day approval to use the video or use the song for the video. So like,
that's fast.
And then like we had to obviously get the Lamborghini first. And we had to plan the location. And after all of those weeks passed from when I got approval to use a song to actually shooting, it exploded on TikTok. And I literally had a conversation with Mike the day of the shoot. And I said,
so wait, hold on. I don't want to stop you. You're the one that made this famous?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, it popped up on its own. And I was like, dude, I love this song. This song literally inspired the vision for the video. And now it's popular. And now I don't want to use it. And then, the guy that helped me with the drone stuff, Tim, was like, dude, you got to use it because it is trending. And I was like, but I don't want to use it because it's trending.
Because it's trending. You want to use it because of its own creative. I got you. That's
exactly. And it was like, I'm not like, oh, I liked it before it was cool guy. But it was like, at the same time, it is trending and people recognize it and they like it. And I almost was like embarrassed to put it out because I was like, people are just going to think I'm just using this song because it's trendy.
But that's awesome. That's awesome. That
you know what I mean? Like, isn't that kind of funny?
Totally understand.
Like, I'm the same way, man. I'm always trying to use stuff that's like people haven't heard of because that just makes it that much more fresh when you drop it. It's like, what's this video? But also, what's this song? Who's this artist? Like, he's putting these pieces together. It's just as authentic as possible.
Awesome. Okay, so imagine, look at how the universe gave that us to it. That's awesome. That's just amazing. Like I really appreciate that. But it
almost didn't happen. Almost didn't use that song, but I guess I'm glad we did because that's how he found us.
No, that's great. That's awesome. And this was almost a couple months back, right? This was this was a couple months.
When I originally DM'd the artist, it was at least a couple months ago.
So man. Okay. So
but the second I heard it on TikTok, I was like, oh no.
I know, like exploding. Hey, I mean, that's fine. That's great. I mean, the fact that that's what I'm talking about. Like and I kind of saw that, you definitely.
You want to hear something really cool? Actually, there's actually several artists that I have worked with before they exploded, where I either shot a concert, I did a photo shoot with them, I did their first music video, something before they just went nuclear on the radio. And it seems like I just have this ear for stuff that is just fresh or unique that has reached the music space. And there's a long list of artists where they're like, you know, they were just literally like, one of them I shot when I was in college. He barely sold enough tickets to fill out a dive bar, but he had a track out that I really loved called Maryland. And I was like, oh, this is something fresh. It's some underground hip hop artist. I think he was from the Bay Area. And I filmed the concert and I sat on this little van that he rented to do this little college tour. And I had a conversation. I was like, dude, you've got something unique. You're a hip hop artist. And I love your sound. He's like, well, thank you. I'm about to go on a bigger tour. I'm about to release an album, and then everybody's going to know who I am. And I was like, well, bet. Remember me. So
when you get famous.
When you blew up. Yeah. Well, the artist was G-Eazy, and the album was These Things
Holy
Happen.
shit.
And he absolutely remembered me because when he started doing bigger arena tours, I got invited to those shows to still shoot those same shows. And the list goes on for artists like that I've just picked up when like a little single or a mixtape came out. And then, you know, I used it in a little project like this Huracan video, and then they blew up, and then we stayed friends.
Dude, that's fucking awesome. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's definitely the universe at work doing what it does best.
100%.
Very cool, man. Very cool. Awesome. Well, let's run down these like I said, here, let me grab these. Hold on one second. Where are we being unprofessional? Here we go. Okay, so the first thing, which is gonna definitely blow up the internet, V6 versus V8. So tell me all about this. So wait a minute. Actually, wait. Let's actually cover a very important thing. So you have a 2016, 2017 Mustang GT?
I have a 2014 V6 Roush Mustang, true factory Roush.
So wait a minute. I thought, well, hold on, because I have to be the first to say this. Roush actually okayed doing V6s? I did not know this, and I should know this.
Nobody knew this, including myself, when I bought it. I thought it was just a kit that someone slapped on. Turns out Roush built a little over, I want to say it was like 400 V6 models in the S197, which is the body style that I have.
Correct.
And there were so few of them, no one knew they even existed. So I feel like I feel like it's a vehicle I have to go to bat for on a daily basis, because not only is it a V6, but it's accused of fake badging.
Right. And you're like, no, bitch.
No, this is legit. Yeah, this is legit.
Dude, that's awesome. I didn't even heard of it, and I'm to say I'm a huge Mustang fan. I mean, I've had Terminators, and I've had Mustangs in the past, so that's
same.
And Saleen too. I had two Saleens. I had two. You probably remember these S281s, the SN95s.
Okay.
So I had two of those. I had a supercharged canary yellow car, and then I had a zinc. After that, I finally got a supercharged 2001. Nice. Basically zinc yellow. It was like a super bright yellow car. But that's awesome. Cool, man. So yeah, I mean, I saw the video you posted with your friend the other day. I think it was I want to say it was a GT as well, and you actually got him off the hole.
Yeah, so we had to settle the debate, and to do it, I took another true factory Roush, a stage 3 V8 supercharged Roush, because everybody, they're in the comments, they're like, oh, if you did all that same stuff to a V8, you should have just gotten a V8 and done it. Well, first of all, V8 and a V6 is a big price difference there. Yeah. And when you're working minimum wage, like I have been for the last several years, that's like half your paycheck is that difference. Right. So I bought the car I could afford, and then I built it slowly over time. And then I took it and I raced the big bed supercharged V8, and we absolutely walked it. Not only did we take it off the line a good 2 or 3 car lengths, but I kept putting buses on it as we kept driving. Now, I will say that his car is built for higher speed racing. So if we did a roll race, I'd say 30, 40 miles an hour or higher, and then race to like 100 plus, he would definitely reel me in, because his gearing is built for that. His power is built for the top end. My car is built for dig racing. So it was kind of, my arena. But at the same time,
he's got the bigger advantage.
Yeah, well, not only that, but we just wanted to settle the debate of, okay, if we run this thing 100 times in a row, my V6 is going to take a GT off the line every single time. And then some.
I have to ask you, what tires was he running and you running?
I don't know what kind of tires he had. I had some really cheap Falcons on, but I'm switching to some sticky R888s in like 2 weeks for this long tail rally.
Number one. AAA. That's, I mean, if underground racing uses them for the 3,000 horsepower Lamborghini Hurricanes, then I think it's good enough for pretty much everybody.
I've got the AAAs coming in, some control arms and sway bars, because right now I'm spinning and I'm still coming off the line hot. My goal is to get under 4 seconds on a 0 to 60 time. And we got to make sure we hook and don't spin. So tires coming.
Awesome. Are you by any chance, just a tidbit, are you by any chance going to do anything with the front shocks to do some weight transfer?
Actually, the car, being a factory Roush, comes with Roush suspension. So it's already been
Okay.
lowered. It's on a little bit tighter suspension than stock. And I could adjust it a little bit, but it's just too much of an investment for what you get.
For right now, of course.
Yeah. I think this car, after I do the control arms and the sway bars, I'm done with it. I might do a fuel pump so we can dump some more E85 in, but outside of that, this car is already faster than I can barely handle it off the line, and it's time to start saving for the next big car.
Of course. And it's obviously it's an EcoBoost V6. It's the what booster, like how much higher boost are you running above stock?
So my car was a stock V6 that I pro charged myself. It's not an EcoBoost. So the EcoBoost is so the EcoBoost is a V4. It's like 2015, I think, is when they started that, and higher. It's the S550 body style.
Oh, that's right, man.
Mine's the older body style. So they didn't. Yeah, the only way that you could get boost on the older body styles if you bought it supercharged from Roush or Shelby or someone like that, or you put a Whipple on it. Mine, I put a Pro Charger on it with a special system, and then we did full bolt on as well, and now it's running on E85.
Nice. So obviously it's pretty much tuned and ready to go. I mean, it's 85. Whether you have a V6, a V8, a V10, doesn't matter. It's just an amazing fuel choice, and it can give you so much
for sure.
Yeah, I mean the amount of torque you can bring out of that tune just because of the cooling, the colder temperatures, internal combustion temperatures are just huge. So that's awesome. So you beat him, and that's very impressive, man. I was very impressed, and I'm sure I mean, I saw some of the comments. People were like, "Oh, this is fake." I'm like, "Yeah, man, it's not."
That's why I want to take on some more competitors, because like I need some people that have credibility on the line.
Right.
To not just be like, oh, my car's faster than yours, but basically I'm trying to be the David and Goliath guy. I need to be David.
Exactly.
Because I want to represent all the guys out there that don't have the bankrolls to buy the Lambos or to do some ridiculous build or even any parent money. Like, I'm doing it by myself on minimum wage in one of the most expensive zip codes in the country. And I want to show people that you don't need a crazy amount of money to make your car fast or make it unique. Going back to, we're talking about music choice. I'm always trying to find stuff that stands out. Like my car just 2 days ago was in a private jet video shoot with a bunch of skateboarders.
I saw it on IG. Yeah,
every car there was exotic but mine, and that's that's just because mine was unique. It was different, and it's a head turner, and it's still, even with all the aftermarket mods on it, is like maybe 25 grand. For what I paid for it with all the extra stuff added on. And that's about what you pay for a V8. So, you don't have to have the most expensive thing. You just got to be different.
Yeah, exactly. And it's got to be well done. Obviously, as long as it's well done, it's always going to go ahead and, be it'll be in your favor as long as it's done correctly.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I was going to ask you about that event, so you just kind of answered my question there too. And then let me ask you another question. I saw, did you do any work for the STRADMAN? Because I saw, I don't know if that was forwarded or
that
was.
He and our buddies. I actually the other car that I raced.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So the other car I raced on my channel was the Burt Lockers GT350, which I also won every dig race against. We did 4 for 4. And that was a fair and square race. He did get me on the rolls, though. Those were pretty even, and he was starting to pull away because, like I said, those cars are built for the top end power. So, answer that question too. But the STRADMAN and I met several years back and have been friends ever since. And he's been on my channel a bunch of times.
How did you guys meet? I gotta ask you this. I had no idea. I just figured I was looking on the IG. I'm like, I gotta ask him about this.
The vlog I'm actually releasing today is going to be shooting his Bugatti. So I met him because I was in the Air Force, still am. And
you're in the Air Force? Oh shit! I didn't know you. Okay, awesome.
Air Force captain. I worked in Space Command, then I did combat camera, and now I'm the liaison between Korean troops and the U.S. over in Seoul.
Dude, how the hell are you finding the time to do any of what you're
told you, man, I keep my foot on the gas. That's why I was like, you're like, hey, you got an hour for a podcast? I'm like, yep, we'll make it work.
Awesome.
So the STRADMAN and I met because my Mustang at the time was breaking down a lot. I was based out in Utah doing combat cam. I was flight commander for that unit, and I kept taking my Mustang. Yeah, and kept taking my Mustang to the nearby shop, and it was makes and models. And I became super close with the guy that was working there at the time named Toby. And Toby was like, hey, man, you should make a video, make some models. And I was, leading the video team for the Air Force, and we needed a project to work on. And Toby was ex-Air Force. So we did a little story on him, a human interest story. And I needed to interview one of his, customers and on what type of person Toby was. And he invited James over. And at the time, James didn't even have 500,000 subs. He was still well known, but not like he is now. And we did an interview with him. All he had was the Gallardo at the time. This was a couple months before he bought the Baby Mac to give it away. Wow. And one of my guys, AJ Lee Photo, who basically taught me photo, came in and shot James's car in the parking lot. And James loved it so much that he asked us to do another shoot with him. So I tagged along, and AJ and I shot him a couple more times and just became friends. And it was one of those things where James has access to all of the greatest photographers that he could ever want that would shoot his car for free always. Right. But James, and I can't really speak for him, this is just my impression of him, really values his genuine connections and his friends and his inner circle. That's why you see him hanging a lot with high quality people like Burlocker and the Summit Auto guys, and Stephen Lewis. And I'm happy to be considered at least part of that circle, along with AJ. And we get invited out to Utah from time to time, at least once a year, to just, do vlog stuff, do some racing and do some photography. And he's the same dude now that he was years ago when he had 200 or 300K subscribers and a whole lot less cars.
Right. Yeah. I mean, his whole buildup has been, I've been almost following him since not day one, but from when I first found out in that first year, I think what you were talking about when you guys met. And it was, I'm like, holy shit, this guy went from supercar spotting to owning now an entire collection of supercars and almost hypercars. Like, what? That's what we everybody listening to this and me including, that's what that's the dream. That's what we're all going for, So I've been, and I've reached out to him, and it's been, of course, you have 1 million people following you. It's you can't even keep up with the likes. Forget about people trying to send you information.
It's funny. He was actually the reason why I even started YouTube, because I left Utah to pursue YouTube full time in Hollywood, and I took him up to a space base to shoot. To blog a rocket launch, and we were standing there by the pad. I gave him the countdown radio, and we were all ready to go. And they ended up scrubbing the launch, and we got back in my Mustang, and I was driving him back to LA, and I hit a pothole on the Air Force Base on the way out, and it slowly worked my wheel off the axle. Slowly, I dropped him off, and about a mile down the road, the whole wheel came off the car. It totaled my car. I didn't have a job yet. Shit. I just moved to LA. I'd only been there for maybe 2 or 3 weeks, and I was supposed to go to Sunset GT the next day to just see some cars. And I remember I was around all these supercars, and STRADMAN had the Baby Mac, and he was out showing it off for the giveaway. And I remember watching him vlogging, and some of my other friends, they were vlogging. And I'm like, I'm around all these supercars, and I have a phone with me. I should start vlogging. Use of it. Yeah. So I just started recording on my phone and just kind of had James as a little role model and just kept on going. But I wanted to make sure that I made my own channel, and I wasn't like a carbon copy of STRADMAN, so I wanted my own cars, my own colors, my own style, and I try to make it as much me as I can. But I use him as a role model when it comes to values and character, and how you hold yourself, how you speak on camera, and how you treat other people, and your interact with your fans, all that kind of stuff. I definitely use him as a blueprint for that stuff. As
a blueprint guide. Yeah, I think he's very authentic, and I've been, like I said, I would love to. You have no idea. I've been wanting to do so much amazing stuff with him, and also reach out to Damien from DDE, and I actually spoke with someone this past week that has good connections with him, and I actually invited him to this event that I'm going to do, the rally, and we'll all have to do stuff, man, because this is just networking, and automotive networking at its finest will be amazing. And one of the reasons I was reaching out was because one of the things I've been pushing for, I have this one thing with AG Supercars, which is it's a supercar, it's a driver's supercar automotive experience. And I'm actually trying to instruct and teach people how to do drifting techniques, braking techniques, car control, spatial awareness, a lot of small things that are in the actual class itself, where a lot of people don't even take in consideration, like the spatial awareness portion of it, which is very important, because it when you're sitting in that supercar, most supercars today, most people don't understand where the front of the car ends, where the sides end, where the rear of the car is, and before you're gonna start, Scandinavian flicking that thing and putting in drifts and shit, you better know where the ends of this car is before you even think about doing that. But that's amazing, dude. That's so cool. Fantastic. So I had no idea. So that's just
there's a
amazing,
reason why
dude.
The license plate says DM Slider, man. I feel like I'm 1 or 2 connections away from everybody.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a super cool tag. That's so cool, man. And what he did the other day, man, with the tracks on the Aventador, I'm just like, motherfucker, fucking hey, that's so sick. Like, it's just first person in the world to do that. And I think everybody's kind of like Damon now is going to be the first person in the world on the face of the planet with a twin turbo V12, F12, excuse me, Ferrari. Dude, it's just like, I mean, some of these YouTubers now, they're just all, not that they're trying to compete with each other, but they're all trying to think of, okay, what's the first, what can we do that would be amazing and be the first in the world of, and have obviously the resource and access to do it. But that's
do you
really
want
cool.
me to give you a little nugget of advice I got from James that I've kind of applied to my own channel? Since you're talking about other YouTubers trying to, chase the next big thing. You can only turbo so many things, right?
Right.
You can only buy so many cars.
Right.
The reason why James's channel is successful is because he has gotten his audience to buy into his story. They don't, and that's what you mentioned first when you talked about him was, he went from car spotting to owning all these supercars and he's living the dream. You'd never really mentioned, he's the guy with the, the purple Aventador or anything like that. Although those are trademarks, that's not the reason why you follow. You follow because it's James. James could talk about cooking and, you probably at least listen a little bit. And, that's what I've tried to do with my channel. And that's why I'm trying to make my story as authentic as possible, is that people don't follow me for my Mustang. I will always have a slower car than someone, and someone out there will always have something newer than me.
Dude, even if you have the fastest car on the face of the planet, there's always that one person that might come along or will come along and might have something faster. So,
Well, I have proof of that now because I shot Manny Koshbin's garage like 2 weeks ago, and I've been posting
You were there?
pictures. Yeah, man.
Holy shit, dude. Fucking. Okay, go ahead. Sorry, I don't want to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, you're good. So I've been posting pictures of his, one-off Bugatti and his special Pagani. Like, we are talking the nicest cars on the planet, right? They're all together. Right. Nobody tops this. This is all the money in the world, right?
Right.
And I've still got people in the comments that are like literally just hating on the Bugatti. Like, wow, the cream color is ugly. And I'm like, dude, like, you don't even own a car. Like, what are you doing? So that was just, for me, that was just proof that you really can have all the money in the world, and there are still going to be people that are upset with what you're doing. Right. So best not to just give them any attention at all.
No, I mean, that's, I hate that word, but the haters and the people that are just, always, it doesn't matter how amazing something is, they're always going to have some stupid thing to say. I mean,
Facts.
Yeah, I even had, for example, perfect example. I did this small little. I'm doing obviously a YouTube video for DRT 2021 just came by here in Florida, in Miami. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's like one of the biggest Porsche shows in pretty much the country. Okay. People flying from all the world to come over to this. And so what I did was I couldn't get myself into a Porsche, but I got into an F12 Ferrari, which was not bad, right? Not bad. A little bit old, but hey, it was the first iteration of the forward thinking of Ferrari's amazing 458 design being implemented finally into a GT car, and then having basically a detuned LaFerrari engine doesn't that's not too shabby. So I got that car, and we were gonna do. I wanted to do a video. A lot of people have been obviously trying to make videos like this. I wanted to make something different again, following the same lines that you're talking about, doing stuff that's creative and not the norm. I'm not a follower. I don't think you're a follower. Stradman's not the follower. I mean, these big YouTubers are definitely not followers. People that are doing very unique things that, and like you said, are trying to create some type of value as well at the same time. And it was crazy because I'm doing a ridiculous drift. We were doing this drifting scene, and I did this nasty drift on this. Actually, where we're going to start the event at the rally event's going to be right from that point because it's a great automotive location to do drifting, and there's not much traffic. There's like one road, and it's perfect. And I had guys, oh my god, that's fucking awesome. Oh, this is sick. This is badass. And then there was like this one guy that was like, oh, my grandma can do better drift than that. Yeah, right. I'm like, really? I'm like, damn, your grandma could do better? Okay, well, next time we're going to have this on April 17th. Why don't you bring her along? I'd love to watch her and you. Like, come on, dude. Like, get the fuck out of here. Don't give me this bullshit. So then I try not to even pay attention, but I just, well, I just asked him a really quick question. I said, really, you could do better? Let me ask you a question. Do you know what a Scandinavian flick is? And it took him, he took him like 2 days to answer. I'm like, you took 2 days to answer a simple question. I'm like, if you don't know what a Scandinavian flick is, dude, don't even talk about like drifting. Don't even think about talking about criticizing someone else's drifting skills or abilities. Like get out of this shit. So there's always going to be people that are going to hate, but I think you have to, like Joe Rogan said, has been saying for a long time, just those people, you just ignore them. You just take them off the radar. You know, they don't really matter. It's their bullshit shouldn't matter to anybody. So I think people are starting to learn that in social media. They're just trying to just create a radar that once the negativity comes up from people, it just goes, you just, get it away from you. But also, man, that's fantastic. I can't believe you know both of them. You got to film. That's amazing. I mean, again, we'll have to definitely talk about networking and doing some amazing stuff. Like I said, I've been. It's hard. And obviously you're doing it and you're kicking ass at doing it. So that's fantastic. And James, if you're listening to this, please reach out.
Sure.
No, we'll do something. It'll be amazing. But actually, that was the point of this event. But believe it or not, this rally event, the whole point was I was trying to get some of the biggest YouTubers in the country to come to this rally, purposely for all the stuff that we're going to provide. The event itself is amazing. We're going to be doing, it's from Miami to Boca, and we're going to this world-class event where you're going to have it's at a jet hangar like you were at the other day, like that. Very famous jet hangar in Boca Raton. And we're going to have supermodels, we're going to have supercars, hypercars, and high-performance cars. And I'm like, there's got to be a rally that has to, a rally to this location. Forget about just going to the location. That's boring. So that's why I came up with this whole idea of doing that. But that's awesome, man. Okay, so here we go. So this is kind of, we kind of covered it, but your second topic was building a key car. I think you kind of answered most of that, but what else did you mean by that? Because I think that's kind of what you were talking about.
Yeah, dude. I mean, like I said, I bought the car that I could afford at the time, and that's why I'm proud of it. Because a lot of guys out here, they're trying to chase clout. They're financing BMWs, they're using parents' money to buy Huracans, and it's like, that's fine if it works for you, but don't say you earned it.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't flex it like it's yours. Like, there's no problem. Like, if your parents can take care of you, that's great. If you're down to finance something, and it's a stepping stone to get you somewhere, if it's like an access thing and you need it, just don't be fake. And at the time I didn't have a job, and all the money I had saved up while I was in the Air Force had been chewed up to just basically survive in LA. And my savings did not go nearly as far as I thought it would. I think I had 12 or 15 grand in the bank that just evaporated.
Evaporated. Just disappeared. Like, you looked at it like, where is it?
Yeah, getting the things that I needed. Anyway, so at the time, I think I had like 2 or 3 grand left in the bank tops.
Fuck.
And rent where I live now is $1,500 plus utilities. And I remember I was doing background acting, and I was like on this set to earn $150 for the day. And if you do the math, that doesn't even really pay my rent. I'm just like, I'm trying to just slow down the savings that's getting chewed up. And I got the phone call. My car was sitting at RDB LA, and I got the phone call from insurance that even though RDB was going to hook it up and do a fantastic rebuild for way less than it should have been, insurance still wasn't going to cover it. My car was valued at like 10 or 11 grand. RDB quoted me 8 grand to fix it all. It was pretty banged up, because I drug the axle without a wheel, a good 30 yards.
That's bad.
So like, I mean, at least it made the RDBLA episode. That was cool. But I had a decision to make. What kind of car can I get? And I was like really hurt, because Mustang had always been part of my identity, and I knew when they scrapped this car, I was expecting to get 9-10 grand out of it, and I was like, what car can I get for 9 grand? That doesn't suck. And like, I was looking everywhere. I was at home after I finished this background acting thing. I was in a rental car, and I just hit the ground. And I remember just like, that was the first time where I felt like rock bottom in LA. I was like crying, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know who to call. I didn't want to borrow anything from my parents or anyone else. So I knew I had to find a way out of this. I had to dig myself out, because there were no bailouts in my plan, even at that point. And I didn't have, like I said, a job offer or anything. So I was like, okay, well, what do we, let's back up, think logically. Like, step one is get a car. We got to have a car. I got to have a car to get to a job, or at least try to get jobs. So that's step one. After I find a car, then I got to find a job. So I started looking online because after I had to return that rental car, I flew home for about a week for Christmas. And I was looking at cars online, and every car that I was looking at, like if I wanted a Mustang, it had to be a V6. It was the only one in the $10,000 mark. Right. And I was like, dang, I really wanted to upgrade to a V8 for my second Mustang, but I can't, because if I wanted to, I had to be over 20 grand. And that means financing a car, making payments, and you can't make payments on a car with no job.
Repo.
So I was like, okay, we got to find a job next. So the guy that was riding with me at the time happened to work at this exotic car rental place, and they managed to get me like a sales job offer that week. So when I came back to LA, I at least had a job. Right. So I was like, okay, I can spend all the money that I'm getting from insurance on this car and the rest of my savings to get a car, because I know I'll at least be able to make next month's rent with the paycheck that comes in from this new job. Right. And it wasn't the smartest move ever, because what I really should have done is gotten a shit box, and then had a bigger buffer between me and making rent. But I had to get.
You were like, fuck it.
Like, I'm a gamble a little bit. I can spend. Let's see. If we get 10 grand from this, I got about 2 G's laying around. I get like a $12,000-$13,000 Mustang. That's it's a V6, but at least it's a late model V6. It'd be like a 13 or 14. So we'd be back in a Mustang at least, And then I've got about a G left, from this paycheck to help cover rent. So that was my theory. While I'm looking around,
you did the car guy math. It's okay.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I'm looking around online, and I find this Mustang. It was a V6, but it said Roush on it. And I was like, what is this?
Like what?
And it was sitting at a Honda dealership in Irvine, and I Googled the specs on it. I'm like, this is a Roush RS. I didn't even know. What is RS? RS is just a V6 trim. And it's basically a full Roush package. It comes with Recaro seats. It comes with all the Roush badging. Right. It comes with the windshield decal, the hood scoop,
all the options. Pretty much all the options
of the V8. Same thing. Basically everything cosmetic. There's no performance parts on it except the exhaust system is Roush, and it sounds fantastic. So I was like, well, what is this car worth? Well, Kelly Blue Book
the suspension, right? The suspension components.
Yeah, suspension, right? Yeah. Okay. So Kelly Blue Book and some other places said the car is worth about 25 grand. But this place, this Honda dealership, didn't know what Roush was. They had it priced as a base silver V6, which means it was 15 grand. And it had 20K miles on it. I was like, wait, they got a low mileage V6 Mustang 2014, which is actually a newer car than what I had previously, 2013. It has fewer miles than the Mustang I just totaled, which had 130,000 miles on it. Okay. And I said, and it's only 15 grand. Yeah. So, and some kind of Christmas miracle, I get a call from the insurance company that they're giving me 14 grand for the car. Way over what it should have been worth. Like, even with the mileage and everything else, Kelly Blue Book was like, at best, you're getting 10.
12.
And they're like, yeah, we looked at it. We think it's worth 14. So take it or leave it. I was like, take it. Okay. So I took 14 grand and I put the 1,000 or 2,000, whatever I had left in the bank, added it in, and bought the car in full off the lot. I flew into LAX from North Carolina, where I was home for Christmas. I took a one-way Uber straight to the dealership and bought the car and drove home in it. And I loved the car. I knew that it was unique because it was a Roush. And I said, okay, we're going to slowly build this thing out, because I'm going to have, like I said, that David and Goliath concept. I'm going to have the David car. I'm going to build the car that eats up GTs, because I want to stand up for all the guys like me that are just trying to make ends meet. They're just trying to make it work, but also still want to play with the big boys. So I never had a plan to boost it. I just wanted to make something that looked sick, so I got the, the basic bolt-ons for it, and I added, the 4-point harness and stuff and the neons, and made it fun. But then, I made a gambles kind of with, not really gamble, just like a friendly bet with STRADMAN, where I was like, if such and such post gets certain number of likes, I think that's what it was, I will wrap my car purple. And I posted something and it got the right amount of likes, but I was, again, I wanted something unique. So I wasn't going to copy STRADMAN. So we trolled everybody. Instead of wrapping it purple, I wrapped it blue camo to match my alma mater, UNC. And we went with geometric camo, and it was off of a design that I got from a GTR that I saw up in SF. And after the wrap, it kept on snowballing. I was like, okay, now we got to get.
Sorry, I don't want to interrupt you, Will, but that design, that looks a lot like. Did you help the STRADMAN with his? Because that looks like the design he had on the Aventador.
It is. So he had his design first, but the blue camo, the color scheme, and the exact design that I originally saw before I was even paying attention really to what he had going on was his GTR. I saw the GTR camo wrap like a while before he ever did the purple wrap on the Aventador. Now, he had the Gallardo wrapped with geometric camo, But even then, like, I wasn't even following him when that car was wrapped camo. When I met him, the car was orange. So I wasn't really aware of what he had going on. That's awesome. It was cool because the geometric camo design on this GTR was slightly different than what I currently have. And that's because I drove my car over to Utah and had the same guys that wrapped STRADMAN's Aventador, who is Segment Life, wrap my Mustang. So it was a similar design. It was like a reimagined version of that camo design, just with with my color scheme. And yeah, like I said, after the wrap and the wheels, it just went downhill from there. I just started adding everything: brakes, drive shaft, gearing, tune. And then it was like, I started looking at it. I was like, you know what? What if we like did this turbo thing? And then I won a turbo contest from Nate Ryder on TikTok, brought the turbos to AGX, who boosts DDEs. Well, they boost Choice cars. No, not Gentani. AGX, Avant-Garde Exotics. They've worked on a lot of YouTubers' cars, but I knew they were familiar with boost. And they looked at my cheap eBay turbos and said, no way, you got to get a ProCharger kit and come back to us. Right. So that's what I did. I went in.
So you sold the turbos and
sold the turbos. I think I got like $200 out of it. And God. I went and bought a ProCharger kit and everything I needed with it, which came out to about 13 grand, put on top of a $15,000 car. And now we're working with 500 plus horsepower on a V6 Mustang.
That's fucking awesome, dude. And who tuned the car? AGX?
No. So AGX put the ProCharger kit in, but a company called MPT, More Power Tuning, I think they're based out of Florida. They specialize in V6 Mustang tuning, particularly boost. They've been data logging with me. And I think my car is the first car to have a flex fuel tune and be a boosted V6 Mustang that can run on E85 or 91 octane. You can switch the blend whenever you want, and I don't have to have a new tune for it. So that was like a little R&D project that we're working, and I'm actually scheduled to go to the dyno next week, get some numbers, figure out if we want to do a fuel pump or not. And once we get that info back, we'll figure out exactly how much E85 we're dumping in. But my goal is to do at least 530 to the crank. That's what I want to hit.
Dude, 530. Dude, I mean, you have to. I mean, I'm sure you remember the Terminators, man. My Mystical 4 Cobra had 500 horsepower, which was that was pretty much every bolt on. And the only way I was able to go above that was when I literally did a full build where I put a Texhead block in there, a full illuminator block, and I did the custom comp cams, which cost me $1,000 just for the cams to cut them, custom grind them, and that was with a good friend of mine. They used that. The only reason because I don't know if they do it now. I haven't looked up. It's been a while, but I know that at the time comp would not do custom grinded cams. They would only do the setup that they had. They would only have the stages that they would have. So they only had up to stage 3 for Terminators. So they ended up doing this, which was really fucked up, and I hate them for this, but whatever. Comp is still badass. I just kind of have a little bit of it pisses me off that they did this without any credit towards us. So I told my friend, who's an engineer, top of his class, cool guy, racing buddy of mine. He ended up working at Picard for like almost 9 years now. I told him, I'm like, Adrian, this is what we got to do. I need this car to stall. I need this car to idle perfect. I need for it to be able to drive, it's my daily, as he knows. It's my daily driver. I got to be able to drive it every day. And I want this thing to chop like a motherfucker. And I need to make at least 40-something horsepower. He's like, oh, is that it? That's all you need? I'm like, sure, not a problem. Or he's like, yeah, sure, not a problem. Like within 2 minutes, he had the specs out. Like he had the numbered, the actual, the numbers where we were going to spec it out to. So he gets on the phone. He calls his friend at Comp. He's like, hey, man, can you do this? He's like, of course I can. And because he went to school with him, so he had that type of a network connection with him. And, it was just, they gave me a price, $1,000. I paid it. And they custom grinded me the cams. And till this day, they have their stage 4, maybe they've changed it, this is a while back, but their stage 4 cams that they came up, because then we didn't even know this. People started asking, like they started watching my video on YouTube, and they started saying, people ask me, oh, what stage cam is this? I'm like, well, it's kind of like a stage 4. And he's like, that doesn't exist. I'm like, yeah, I know, it's custom, and I had to explain the whole situation. So they started, so many people started calling Comp and asking him this. They just said, you know what, those numbers, do you mind if we use them? I'm like, well, am I going to get paid? It's like, no, but we're at least being nice enough to ask you. I'm like, why are you asking me then? If you're going to do it anyways, why even ask? He's like, well, we're going to go through it anyways. I'm just kind of letting you know. And I'm like, fuckers. So they ended up doing it. And then now they have their stage 4 cams for the Terminator, where basically we did that. So yeah, that's
awesome.
Great. Yeah, and it was, I had to sell the car. It's a long story, but that's so cool, man. Like the story itself has so much value to it. And that's kind of one of the things I've been trying to reach out to people that, and look, just again, as the power of the universe, just kind of, I mean, the fact that I even found your channel or your IG by going to Longtail and asking them and kind of criticizing him about the music.
Yeah.
And now I talk to you and you're like, no, but that's not the situation. I'm like, this is fucking awesome. Perfect podcast. This is awesome.
Yeah.
So I salute you for doing that, because there are a lot of people and you know, there are a lot of people in that situation that really want to be at the top and they don't have the resources, and it sucks. I mean, it sucks that not everybody's a multimillionaire. I wish we all were multimillionaires. But I think that's one of the things that, like you said, it appeals so much to STRADMAN's story appeals so much to so many of us, because we're like, well, wait, if he did it, then most of us should be able to do it as well, you know, with enough work and energy, obviously, because it does require a shit ton of energy. Right. But the next thing that you asked me, or that you came up with, which was fantastic, and I really would like your input on this, because I just technically, I mean, I had my YouTube channel for all my racing stuff, street racing stuff, but I had to make a separate one for my company, WTS Dynamics, and I decided to kind of incorporate that, since that has to do with the Forge Wheel company that I have. I figured, let me leave that as now, because I don't even have a YouTube for AG Supercars, and I don't have one for Flatout Investments, which is the podcast. I figured I would just kind of mold them into WTS Dynamics, because obviously it's got that word dynamics in there, and WTS stands for wheels. Oh my god, I don't even know my own thing here. My own slogan. It's
wheels, tuning, and strategy.
It's yeah. There you go. That's a new one. It's so WTS stands for wheels. Wheels for supercars. Wait. WTS wheels. Oh my god, I can't believe it. I can't think right now. But it's I'll think about it now. And it was just an idea that I had, and I said that's perfect. You know, I'm going to name it that. But the dynamics in there obviously has to do with a lot of different things, so that's why I figured I'd put it there. So the next thing is keys to building a YouTube. Please, any tips, information, anything you could provide would be amazing, because obviously we're all trying to. I mean, it's hard to keep up, man. The algorithms is always changing, and there's so many different things that are changing. I mean, tell us what you know, please.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not like necessarily an expert, because I'm just rounding out, about to crack 10K, but I've had the fortunate opportunity.
That's a big number. That's a big number. It takes a while to get to that point.
It's taken a lot. I would say I have learned at least the right strategies from some of the big guys, because, you know, that's what I like to do, is ask them questions. And especially being a manager of Life of PALOS, I get to get all kinds of feedback from him. And the keys right now, because this changes like literally by the week, you know, the strategy right now that at least I understand is, one, you're not taking advantage of shorts, getting left behind. So if you know, be making YouTube shorts and uploading once a day at least if you can. Right. And by the way, I have videos on YouTube, my YouTube channel, under the tutorials playlist that explain everything I'm about to tell you, like in detail. So
awesome.
Breaks
everybody go check it out, including myself.
And it's entertaining. I hate talking head stuff that's just boring. So you got YouTube shorts. You're gonna want to upload. If you do a vlog, I've been targeting 5 to 8 minutes for my vlogs. The recipe used to be 10 to 12, but I pay a lot of attention to YouTube channels that teach you how to grow. And YouTube made a statement now that if you've got 5 to 8 minute vlogs or videos, keeping the audience's attention for solid 5 to 8 minutes without it dropping off is better than having an audience watch a 15-minute video for 10 minutes. Wow. So if you can get them for all 5 minutes of those 5 minutes, that is better than 10 minutes out of a 15-minute video, if that makes sense.
It makes perfect sense. It's crazy how they
and hook them. So that means that you got to have lots of jump cuts, music changes, anything that's just or just a cliffhanging like story that just keeps you engaged, a beginning, a middle, a conflict, a resolution, and an end. Just like those essays you had to turn in school. It's the same formula for telling a YouTube story. And I know sometimes that's hard to do if you're not scripting it out, but I'm figuring it out as I go, that, like, you know, even if I go to like a car show, for example, you know, there's always a natural story progression in anything that you do. It just depends on how you tell it throughout the video, and how, like, while it's being filmed in real time, and then how you edit it. You can edit in those things. So like the video that I last released was, you know, we did it was like part 1 of a STRADMAN video. You know, like we're going to just take out his Bugatti and his Aventador, go shoot him and bring him back. Well, then the Aventador needed to be like jump started, and that was a conflict. And then we had to go get the keys at 8080, and that was a little conflict. And, you know, then the video builds up to the Bugatti, and then it's like, oh, if you want to see the Bugatti, part 2. And normally I don't split up my vlogs, but the people are watching for the Bugatti. So you got to hang that at the end of the video so they watch it. But you don't want to make the rest of the video, it cannot be worthless filler stuff because then you're just wasting their time and you're losing credibility. So, if you're going to clickbait someone in, at least hook their attention with something else that's entertaining and not just fluff in the center. I don't know if you ever got an essay back in English that said, what is all this fluff, basically? Cut it out. It's not necessary. Same thing with your YouTube video. And then I'm trying to think what else. Figure out, this is big. So figure out what type of content your audience actually wants to watch. Not necessarily upload what you want to put out, but it's got to be types of content that your audience is looking for.
Right.
So like I can go out and do a how-to video on how to, arrange photo shoots and stuff. But if those are getting low views and my audience isn't really interested in that, maybe my audience is more interested in behind the scenes of Lindsay Brewer and wants to know more about her life. And I can offer insight on that, so we do a video on that. And you only know by testing things, test stuff. And if it gets good response, then make more of that type of content. And then
reading your target audience, make sure that you know exactly what they're looking for. Like, exactly what you just said. Yeah.
And I think the last one here, nugget, is find searchable titles. So don't just title the video of what it is. Title it something people are actually typing in the search box. That's
something that's really tricky because even for these podcasts, I try to be as short as I can, and it's hard because I'm trying to put so much information. So that's huge.
So I don't know how it works with podcast search, but on YouTube, actually, more words is okay. Actually, a lot of words is okay. Because I try to make my titles short and sweet. Like
super short.
One time we took a Ferrari challenge car and we drove it down the streets of Hollywood, for a vlog. Awesome. And I was like, illegal supercar on streets. Nobody's typing that in, even though it sounds awesome. Nobody's searching for that. They're searching for something else. So I need to title it something that someone would actually type in. So I think like the YouTube Shorts video, like I called it, how to do YouTube Shorts, with instructions or something. I don't know, but just think if you were searching for a video on YouTube, how would you type it pop up? What would you type in that search box to get it? And then maybe add something in parentheses as like some extra searchable words, and then whatever words you got in your title, put those same words in the description. The description be as long as possible, because the more words you put in the description, the more possible keywords that can pop up. Right. So if you can add in things or links to other YouTube videos or other videos of yours, YouTube loves it when you keep viewers on the platform. So link out other videos. So when I upload that, how to YouTube Shorts video, maybe I put some links to some of my shorts or compilation videos or something in the description. And that's going to keep people not only on your channel, but on the platform. The algorithm is going to love that.
Yeah, that's what they want. I mean, that's number one. And that makes perfect sense. I want to fix this because I'm going to sound like a retard. Everybody's been like, wow, this guy doesn't know his own slogan. Seriously? No, guys, it's just my brain is that fried. And that does happen when you fry your brain. You're doing a billion things at once. You're trying to be efficient. So it's wheel and tire systems for supercars. I can't believe I forgot that. It's never happened.
Nice. No problem, man.
Embarrassing. Yeah, man. I mean, listen, fantastic piece of information, even for myself. It's been hard trying to navigate, and I have watched some of these instruction videos where it tries to show you, but there's so much information. There's so many people that tell you, do this, do that, do this, do that. And even if you listen to, someone that's got 500,000, I mean, I also, I'm talking about like guys like Alejandro's been a little bit out of Salamander. He's been a little bit out of the scene, and now that he left California for Texas, I know that he's kind of starting over there. Another person that again was trying to get to come to this event. My plan was to try to get these gigantic, these huge, very well known, automotive YouTubers, and get them all in one rally, which technically hasn't really been done. There's been a couple of rallies where everybody goes to this and that, but this was a little bit different. So we could definitely, hopefully maybe after the one, because you're doing one on the 24th, right?
That's correct.
Okay. And yours is going to be with Longtail.
That is Longtail's rally, yeah. Okay.
And that's from California to where?
Go up the coast of California, over to Yosemite, and then down to Vegas.
Wow. So that's going to be a fun ass trip.
Yeah.
Are you guys going to maybe stop by Royalty Exotics?
I don't think so, because I think Royalty might have a rally at the same time as us.
Oh shit! Everybody's doing rallies.
I saw somebody post something and it got taken down, so I don't know. But We wouldn't stop there because they're not really affiliated with the rally. I love Houston's probably a great guy, and I'm friends with Edmund Mondi. I know he's over there all the time. So, maybe myself, I don't know, but we got our own things planned. We got Speed Vegas time. We got track time over there. So we're going to have a full docket, kind of doing our own jam.
Oh, sick. You're going to be at the Speedway? You're going to be at, that's awesome.
That's why you think I need those R888s, man.
Yeah, you're going to need them. That's for sure. And make sure you don't, definitely, you're going to have to get them nice. And well, I mean, those tires are amazing, but quick warning with those. I'll give you one set of just one thing to think about with those things. So obviously, I mean, I don't think you'll run into this problem, but if you do encounter any type of rain,
yeah,
you're gonna just don't go into the, do not get freaked out. You're probably gonna, I mean, you will at one point probably aquaplane with those tires. The only thing you got to make sure is don't touch the brake. You'll be fine. Yeah. Just go right through it. Just if you feel a little flotation going on, that's fine. You're just above the water. Just ride it like a fucking surfboard. You'll be good to go. Just don't touch the brake.
Yeah, good to know, man. Yeah, I'm already kind of used to losing the back end with the Mustang already. So
exactly,
I'm sure,
you won't have a problem there. But it's a different
already kind of prepared.
It's a different feeling because you're literally on top of the water. It feels like you're not in control. And if you just a slight little move of that steering wheel, you touch the brake, it will be not a good day.
I did a whole winter in Utah on bold tires with my last Mustang.
Oh, so
I've been prepared.
Veteran. You're good to go. If you did that,
tundras.
You're good to go. Awesome, man. Okay, so then now we have. So this one is awesome as well. Got to cover this. This is huge. Girls, and I'd say girl models, model girls, girls that are models, obviously in the car scene, in the social media space. Trust me, this is a fantastic something I've been wanting to cover for a while. So I'm glad you brought it up.
Yeah.
You go first, or if you want to go first, it's up to you.
What's your question exactly with that?
Well, my question, let me see. So I think that there's about 2 to 3 different types of automotive, like car girls that are getting into cars, girls are getting into modding, girls are getting into drifting, girls are getting into race cars. I think that there's 3 types. This is what I've seen. There's obviously the girls, and I'm sorry, but it's just the truth. There's a shit ton of them that, they're there because it's the new popular thing to do. I think that they understand that obviously the automotive world is humongous, and they're kind of leveraging the efficiency of what they can do when they're mixed those two. When you have a car girl, I remember I grew up in the 90s, street racing and being here in Miami. Dude, to find a girl that was into cars, if you found one, like it was over, like wifey and kids, and like be happy for the rest of your life, because holy shit, that was like a rare gem. Not so much so now. I mean, now you just got to go to Instagram, type in girl cars. That's it, car girls, and it's over. And pick which one you want. So I think that something that's bothering me about it is that I don't like that. Like we're talking about authenticity. I like authentic things, and it goes with people, cars, anything, videos, creation, anything has to do with anything. If it's not authentic, that's one of the reasons why I can't stand where cinema has been going. It's all CGI shit. And it's garbage. Cinema is literally dying. Even Scorsese says it, that he's like, listen, all this Marvel shit and all this, it's a fucking roller coaster ride. It's not cinema. It's something else, and people are enjoying it. Good for them, but it is not cinema. So that's another thing that I've been actually placing my pieces on the chessboard, is to be able to place myself in strategic places and collaborate with a whole bunch of amazing people to really come up with the most cinematic, most insane, most badass automotive videos that will ever be made. But we'll save that for another podcast. Okay. So my whole thing is that, so I don't like the authenticity. I know that you can kind of tell, there's just certain things about these girls that are modeling with certain cars. Maybe some of them, it might not even be their cars. It's maybe their boyfriend's cars, but they figure, we'll just take advantage of this, and they'll say that it's their car, even though it's not. Then you have the super authentic girls that are total real car girls that are, they're diving in. They're actually working on their own cars. They're racing their own cars. They're doing everything with their own cars. Just learning everything that they can and being that person, being that a completely knowledge-filled, real car girl enthusiast, which is just amazing. I think it's probably one of the most amazing thing that the automotive world could have ever gotten as a gift was that. And then the third one, well, I'll leave those 2 for you. So what do you think as far as what, because obviously you're shooting with some of these girls as well, and you're shooting with professional models and stuff like that. So what do you think? What would you say about that?
So first of all, I just want to say that I can't really speak for girls, because last time I checked, I wasn't one.
Okay.
And I can only speak from the point of view of an observer. But I do have a unique point of view because I have more friends in LA that are female than male, even though I am heavily involved in the car scene. And that is because I'm equally as involved in the fashion and modeling scene as a photographer. And I get to spend a lot of one-on-one time with these girls. And even though we're working and we're shooting, you know, I get to know a lot of them really well.
Yeah, you get to talk to them, talk shit with them, for sure.
And that's also like, I know I like to think at least that I'm pretty good at networking. So that's part of the reason why DM Slider is my license plate, my actual license plate. Right. But it's also because my car is frequently full of girls. And that's because I bring them to these car events. And I literally will pack like 3 or 4 girls sometimes into the Mustang and bring them to a car show or a car rally and just let them experience the car scene without the pressure of whoever they're with, either trying to hit on them or, you know, date them or whatever. It's like they just get to show up and be themselves. And they get to walk around me. So they arrive with me. So my friends or the other guys there aren't all trying to hit on them because they're like, oh, they showed up with Will. You know, like, you know, that's not the girl that I need to go and try to hit on. That's like, they're here with Will. Right. And I like seeing any girl that's interested in the car scene. They don't have to wrench on anything necessarily. For sure. And they don't,
any type of interest is awesome.
Some of the girls that I've driven to the car shows and stuff don't even own a car. And it's like, you know, if they're just having fun, that's good enough for me. And I think as guys who are in the scene, it's our job to make the car scene, whether it's a show or a rally or a track day or whatever, something that's a welcoming, safe space for a girl where she could show up and not only just be like treated as an equal, but also like not like hit on every second, not you know, like I would also like, I mean, like it's a great place to meet a girl, but it's like, you don't got to walk up and like get her number and ask her out every time you see a female at a car event. Like you could just get to know them just like you would get to know a guy at these events. And then like, you know, maybe if there's like a connection, like down the line, you know, something, I don't know, but like, I have never really picked up a girl at a car show. I think one time I met a girl and like asked her out, but you know, she was like, you know, I got to know her first, but even then, like all the girls that I'm bringing are there basically as my little sisters. And I just want to see them excited about something I'm excited about. And I actually manage Lindsay Brewer right now, who is a car girl, true and true. And receives a lot of criticism for being a car girl. And I think it's because, you know, she's got all the swimwear pictures online and she's got, you know, the stuff that would maybe have her stereotyped as somebody that wouldn't know cars. But, you know, she's been racing her whole life. She started out in like shifter cars and worked her way up to racing for McLaren. And she's training for GT4 now. And like, she's actually good at driving. And I remember we had a conversation about this time last year where she was like, look, like I have this huge following. That's great. But how do I show them all that I actually know car stuff? And I was like, well, you know, let's
show them exactly that.
Exactly. Yeah. Just, you know, we got to create some content that shows that you know what you're doing, that gets you in the race suit. Let's set up some shoots. Let's get you at rallies. Let's have you signed up for events. Let's have you meet other people, collaborate on your YouTube channel, and it'll happen naturally. And if you go look at her page now, especially her TikTok, it's a lot of car content there.
Awesome.
And she's just running with it. And I think there's probably a lot of girls out there that are like that, where they just like, they want to be in the scene or they want to be known as somebody in the scene, but they just don't know really how to introduce themselves to it. And that's kind of where I think we can step in, just as somebody that doesn't necessarily do it for them, but just gives them the opportunity to do it without, you know, any other
pressure and
or pressure. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's super important. Yeah. I 100,000,000% agree. It's, I think, like I said, I think it's one of the best things that could have ever happened to the automotive world. I mean, a lot of, you know, in the past couple of years, we've had a lot of these feminists come out and no, you know, men are still, no. The women are taking over. Like girls are just taking over almost everything. And I don't think it's a bad thing at all. I mean, you know, saying it like that, I'm joking, but I'm just saying, I mean, I could have never, like I said, back in just 25 years ago, girls that were into cars, that were remotely into cars was like, holy shit, what, you like car? Oh my God, please, like, let me marry you. And I think that comes from the fact that, you know, I mean, women and cars have always been, cars and women and men have always been, you know, it's kind of been always, like beautiful women and beautiful cars has always been there. It's always been, they were always the models, but very rarely did you ever see an actual girl in a race car actually racing or actually knowing. And so the fact that, now that we've had this explosion, especially on social media, with girls that have gotten into cars truthfully and authentically for real, because they actually like it, not just because they're seeking, attention or anything like that. Now, obviously, I'm sure there's plenty of people. And like you said, they get criticized a lot, which is fucking ridiculous. Some of these girls drive most of the time much better than a lot of the other guys that are out there that have maybe been doing something for, a long time. Maybe they haven't. But I've gotten that a lot. I mean, I've had actually a couple of girls on here. I've had a rally girl. Her name's Christina. She's fantastic. She's from her IG handle is Beat by a Girl, which is hilarious. I mean, just the name itself, tells you what she's about. And she's huge about rally. She's been getting onto racetracks and getting more exposure to the racetracks and race cars, and she's loving it, which is fantastic. I've had Laura Luft, she's a race car driver. She actually races in Germany, obviously, and she's been on the Nordschleife. She's been at the Nürburgring, which is amazing. I also had Annika, who is also, I think she was one of the first girls I had, and she's also an amateur racer. She works on her own car and has a bunch of posts of her actually working on the car. She's got a Mazda and was getting serious track time as well. Now she's kind of moving into the real estate, so she's kind of dividing things, but still fantastic, girl. And she was super fun to have on the podcast. I've been asking her to please let's do another podcast, but she's just been too busy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that it's I just don't like it's unavoidable, but I just hate the fact that there are a lot, because it gives the girls that are actually getting into it for real kind of a bad rep. Like you said, it's like this what's her name? I'm sorry, what was the girl's name?
Which
the
girl?
One that you're
Lindsay?
Yeah. What so you're like her, how's that working? Like you're her, not her agent, but you're like her hunter, like you're her photographer, you're the one that she's always working with now?
Manager. So I signed her just under a year ago, and have just kind of been working alongside her, just advise what kind of content to shoot, put her in place in the right places, and get her at the events, things like that. And she's working with Clubhouse now a lot more than she was with me this time last year. But we still work together, and I even hit her up today for a potential brand deal. So
fantastic. And she's and that's one thing that I've actually been wanting to push as well with the driver's course that I mentioned. I'm really trying to get. There's a girl by the name of Brittany. She's going to be coming down for the event, and she's a professional fitness model, and she loves cars. And I'm like, Brittany, we got to get you on the course. Like, you got to do this. Like, get some sponsorship and let's go. And she's super excited. And I told her, because it's that change. Like we're kind of used to. Like I said, from the day that, from the 50s, you had pinup models that were around the airplanes and cars, and we're kind of used to models, but we've never been used to, like, wait a minute, you're a model and you're actually into the cars and you're racing the cars and you're working on the car. What?
Yeah.
Holy shit, where have you been my whole life, type of situation. But I'm glad that you are representing it and helping these girls get out there without having to have that, like you said, that pressure of, like, always getting hit on, which – I get it. It sucks that it's like that, but it's kind of, it goes with the territory, right? I mean, you're going to be surrounded by what has been a very male-driven world, and but I get it. That's fantastic that you're pushing to try to just not have the girls being pressured, like constantly being asked by random guys like, "Oh, can I have your number?"
Yeah,
that's good. That's a good thing, because I can't imagine what it would feel like, but I can understand that that's not a cool thing. It's like they're going out there to have fun and be around cars, not be getting hit on by guys, So that's really cool, man. That's fantastic. Well, that's pretty much it. I mean, those are the four things that we kept, the four topics. Is there anything else you wanted to, if you want to ask me questions, obviously, because usually we do 4, but I know we were kind of in a rush. So I didn't want to take up that much of your time. It's been about an hour, so we're at 7 minutes.
Let me think. I feel like we exchanged a lot of ideas here in the effort to just keep people's attention and close this out smoothly.
For sure.
Let's give them a call to action. So something that they can do with everything that we've given them so far. So if you had to kind of summarize this in like one sentence, one call to action, do this. If you forget everything that we've said so far, what would you tell them?
Simple. Go ahead and obviously follow the podcast so you could, they could listen to everything and then go through it. But I think, if you guys want to contact, obviously, I think anybody listening to this, I think would be fantastic. Go check out Will's page. It's fantastic. It's got great content. Now that we know that, his story, it'll be even more valuable. And, same here, obviously, Flatout Investment Podcast. Go ahead and follow us. I'll be putting up the write-up, as we always do for every other podcast that we do. And Will, I'd love to, after this, I think we got to do automotive networking together. I'd love to work with you. I'd love to definitely sit down with you and talk about some of the ideas that I've had with some of the insane stuff that I'm working on, as far as in the background with actually making automotive amazingness, creative, absolutely amazing, insane automotive films is really what I want to try to do, and episodes, mini episodes that would lead up to a giant film. I do have a couple of friends in Hollywood that are trying to, not to say too much, but let's just say that I'm trying to get people like, imagine crazy stuff, Keanu Reeves involved into a project. I'm trying to get Scarlett Johansson, Charlize Theron. These are people that I'm kind of wanting to make an actual full-blown cinematic movie with. But of course, to reach to people like that, it's just the amount of energy that it takes is not an easy thing. But, I have the idea, I have the concept, it's all there. I think it would be fantastic to bring you on the project as obviously the photographer and maybe even more. And I think we could do some of the most badass fucking automotive YouTube videos ever made on the face of the planet.
Cool, man. Sounds awesome.
Cool, man. All right, Will. So thank you so much for being here. And I'm going to go ahead and end the podcast right now. Guys, like I said, you know what to do. And go ahead and follow us and follow Will. And we'll definitely, you'll catch us on the next podcast.
Thanks so much, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Thank you, Will. Appreciate it, man.